of times folks want to dig a hole and they want to dig it too deep. And when they take the tree and they set that root ball down in the hole, the root ball, the top of it is actually below the grade of the soil surrounding. Soil gets put back in on top, and that root ball has a layer of soil basically preventing it from getting oxygen, and that can lead to a lot of stress on the tree. They can also come too deep in the containers, because when these trees are in the nursery, they're started in smaller containers, and as they grow, they get repotted. And a lot of times that potting soil just kind of accumulates a little bit more and a little bit more over each tree and buries the flare of the tree. And now the flare is right at the base of the tree. It's kind of when you ask a child to draw a picture of a tree, they're going to draw the end of the base of the tree coming up like that. That's a real important part of the tree. That flare has a big impact on the health of the tree, and if it's covered with soil, it causes a lot of stress. That flare needs to be open and exposed and not have that soil hold moisture retaining it up against the bark. That's going to create a lot of issues for trees. So that's one of the number one problems we see. Another big problem we see is circling or girdling roots. Circling roots are roots that grow around the edge of the container. Right? Trees weren't meant to grow in containers. They were meant to grow in soil. But for our own convenience, we do establish them in containers more often than not. And what happens is when those roots grow up, they hit the container walls and they start to circle. And they don't have anywhere else to go, so that's just what they do. It's kind of like muscle memory. The roots get accustomed to that circular growth habit, and when we take them out of the container, you can see those roots swirling around the edge of the container. Those root balls need to be scored or cut to sever those roots, because if we don't, the trees will continue to grow those roots in a circle, and the roots will not grow out radially away from the tree like they're supposed to. So the plant doesn't have access to all the soil resources in the surrounding soil, and it doesn't anchor itself very well, both of which lead to problems. Girdling roots are roots that actually circle right around the trunk. And over time, as the diameter of the trunk increases and the roots get bigger, it starts to constrict. It's kind of like putting a rubber band around your arm and cutting off circulation. So that's a big problem. A lot of these things are very preventable if you know what to look for when you buy the tree and when you plant the tree.